There is an organization in India that if it belongs to it, can lay claim to it. Doesn't matter what kind of property papers you have. This is the Wakf Board. I'm going to be talking about a few examples where there has been some stunning conduct on behalf of this board to lay claim to things that you would think belong to the legal owner. If there is one good reason for Uniform Civil Code to be passed and implemented, that would be this, that Wakf Board has been used beyond its means, and in fact the way it is defined itself is very dubious, because the Wakf Board can lay claim to any property in India if it believes that someone who was Muslim if it believes that someone who happened to be a Muslim owned this property. That's it. Belief system. Now I'm going to show you a few examples and you will see how ridiculous some of these things are. Yet in a court of law, wait a minute, what court of law? Even that is very interesting here. So a quick request to all of you to please like this video and please also share it widely, because you could be the next person against whom they could be moving and saying that this property doesn't belong to you, it belongs to us. Here we go. Taj Mahal, Bet Dwaraka, 𝗤𝙗𝘃 𝘂𝘆, Ambani's house, 77% of Delhi, 42% of Hyderabad, International School of Business, Wipro Hyderabad office and Delhi High Court all have one thing in common. These lands are all owned or claimed by Wakf Board. The word Wakf is not found in the Quran and not even in the Indian Constitution. There is a reference only in much later hadiths. Earliest archaeological reference to Wakf is only in the 10th century. No recorded proof of Wakf before that. However, this Wakf was totally different from the Wakf boards that exist today. If you want to know the source for all this, I've given you a bunch of links under the description section of the video. Please feel free to go there and click on them. You'll get an even richer depth and understanding of what this is all about. The earliest recorded instance of Wakf is considered to be dedicated by Faikal Hadim ibn Abdali al-Sikili in 912 AD in the Ramallah city in Palestine. The Wakf was established with a caravan sarai, rest house for merchants and travelers. In pre-modern days, Wakf was basically an Islamic endowment that was established for religious and charitable purposes. However, there was a huge difference. Theoretically, any Wakf endowment once executed cannot be repealed. It cannot change hands. Once a Wakf, always a Wakf. Today, the Wakf Board has systematically grabbed Hindu lands to become the third largest landowner in India, right after central government bodies like Defence and Railways. Practically, this means Wakf was always under the control of the state, the Muslim ruler. The Wakif, issuer, and Mutawali, custodian, had no private rights over it. There was no such thing as a Wakf Board. Today's Wakf Board, Central Wakf Council, was established by who else? Nehru in 1964. Your land can be robbed of you if the Wakf Board has reasons to believe that it belonged to some Muslim person, saint, anytime in the past. Remember the word believe. According to the Wakf Act 1995, and I'm going to show you the specific section, belief is all the Wakf Board needs. It just has to believe your land belonged to a Muslim. Congress under P.V. Narasimha Rao framed the Wakf Act in 1995. For decades, secular governments have passed various laws empowering Wakf Board. Such laws don't exist even in the officially Islamic nations. Here is the section in the 1995 Act. Decision if a property is Wakf property. The board may itself collect information regarding any property which has reason to believe to be Wakf property, and if any question arises whether a particular property is Wakf property or not, or whether Wakf is a Sunni Wakf or a Shia Wakf, it may, after making such inquiry as it may deem fit, decide the question. The decision of the board, it goes on and on, but you can see here, belief. That's what it is. Now, you cannot go to court. You have to go to the Wakf tribunal. Such is a travesty of this law that you have to plead your case before the very board that set its rapacious eyes on your land in the first place. Now I'm going to recite to you some of the Wakf Board land grab cases. Case of 𝗤𝙗𝘃 𝗲𝘀𝘆. It was a Hindu Krishna temple named Nand Bhavan, also known as 𝗤𝙗𝘃 𝗲𝘆 temple, which is a famous pilgrimage place in Gokul. This temple rests on 84 pillars, 𝗤𝙗𝘃. Eventually, it was destroyed by Ghorits in the 12th century. The invaders' intention was only to destroy the Hindu temple and convert it into a mosque. They did not even bother defacing the columns on pillars that depict the avatars of Vishnu even today. In the 20th century, the Wakf Board out of nowhere claimed this structure on the premise that it once functioned as a mosque and prayers were held. Their request was granted by the government and this is now a Wakf property. Thus, governments have validated foreign jihadi invasions by enabling the Wakf Board to occupy lands solely on the basis of past conquest of Islamic invaders. Now, here is a case of Hindu majority villages of Tamil Nadu, where the Wakf Board has laid claim. The Wakf Board in Tamil Nadu has recently claimed ownership of an entire village, taking the villagers by shock. It also has a 1500-year-old Sundareshwara temple. You know how this thing came about? One farmer wanted to sell his plot to a neighbor, and both of them went to the registrar's office to register the sale deed. And the registrar office says, wait a minute, this land doesn't belong to you, this is Wakf land. That's when they woke up. I said, wait a minute, do I not own this land? And then he starts showing all his ownership papers going back several generations, but the registrar is unmoved. There was a furore. In fact, there is a 𝗣𝗚𝘂𝘁 𝗏𝗏 hangout that I did on this very topic, and they had to undo it. But you see the extent to which somebody has to fight. It doesn't mean that they will not lay claim in the future again. I mean, if DMK comes to power again, you know what they're going to do. A piece. Okay, so the locals of Tiruchendurai were taken aback when they came to know that their whole hamlet had been declared the property of the state Wakf Board. There was no evidence regarding Muslims residing in the area, and papers proved that resettlement took place in 1927-28. There was also no information about Muslims holding property in the area. I mean, you're talking about a possible Ram Mandir kind of a lawsuit which went for hundreds of years on a small plot of land. But the catch here is that these villages were once the personal fief of a foreign invader named Jalaluddin Ahsan Khan. Any land that was once occupied by any Islamic invader is now being stolen by the Wakf Board. Governments have empowered them to do it. What they do is, once they get the land, they just illegally sell it out to somebody else, and that family will come and occupy it. What the heck can you do? And if they sell it and piecemeal it to 5,000 families, all of them are going to come and squat on your land. What are you going to do? Man, this is a huge problem, very big problem, and I'm surprised that the Modi government did not pass the UCC in its first term. Forget about here. Of course, there would have been a lot of pushback, but it doesn't matter when you pass it, there is going to be pushback, my 2 cents. Now let's take a look at the case of 5,000 families in 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. You know, there are lots of small hamlets in and around Hyderabad. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. I think this is Bada Uppal and Chota Uppal. There's also an Uppal. So there are 3 levels of Uppal here. A few years ago, they were the registered owners of highly priced lands in Hyderabad. Today, they are desperately protesting on roads because they have been stripped of ownership of their own lands by the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 Wakf Board. The residents bought their land from a real estate broker who in turn bought it 50 to 70 years ago from a Muslim man. In 1989, the Wakf Board claimed these lands on the premise that they once belonged to a Muslim holy person. The Wakf claim of these 294 acres was approved by the government. Here is the case of Indian School of Business, Microsoft, ISB, Wipro campuses. Indian School of Business is the most prestigious and highest ranked business school of India in Hyderabad. The Wakf Board did not spare even this institution. The board said that Microsoft and Wipro campuses in Hyderabad were built on Muslim Wakf land. Microsoft, ISB, Wipro campuses were leased on state government lands, but the Wakf Board claimed this 1654-acre land, including all of Manikonda, is Wakf land. It's going to be interesting how they are going to solve this. I mean, if one company gets scared away, what are you going to do about the millions invested in building that huge monstrosity called a building with modern amenities, restaurants, theme parks, creches, and so on and so forth? Big problem, guys. A panicked Telangana state government knocked the doors of Supreme Court for help. Fortunately, the Supreme Court ruled in favor of the state. This was an extremely rare case of the Supreme Court overturning Wakf decision. The same state government was empowering the Wakf Board. In fact, the KCR government promised to give judicial powers to Wakf. Here is another interesting case. 2 islands in 𝗣𝗽𝗼𝗂𝘂𝘁. Wakf Board has written an application to Gujarat High Court staking claim on the ownership of 2 islands in 𝗣𝗽𝗼𝗂𝘂𝘁 in 𝗣𝗚𝗂𝘗𝘀. On hearing this, the Gujarat High Court expressed disapproval and hit out questioning how can Wakf Board claim ownership of land in Krishnanagari and refuse to hear the application. The small islands are inhabited by about 7,000 families, of which about 6,000 families are Muslim families. 77% of Delhi belongs to Wakf. According to the Wakf Board, 77% of Delhi belongs to Wakf. This includes CGO complex, Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium, Delhi High Court, and Delhi Public School. This means that the Wakf Board is planning more land grabbing and your property could be next. Delhi High Court was built next to 𝗤𝙭𝙬 Gate, so this point is enough to claim. You may ask, who is illegally appropriating selling Wakf properties after claiming everything under the sun as Wakf? According to Rahman's report, the prominent encroachers are Imam Bukhari, of Shahi Imam of Jama Masjid, Maulana Imam, the Naib Imam of Shahi Masjid. Then the Wakf beneficiaries illegally sell those lands. I told you how. Here is another interesting case. RSS land in Bhopal. It's not only temples, public lands, and Hindu private lands that the Wakf Board is targeting. In Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh, the Wakf Board has also claimed that land owned by RSS is Wakf land. Wakf Board is claiming that the land was once a Muslim graveyard. According to some, the land in question was donated to RSS by a Hindu family. Originally, Wakf had around 52,000 properties throughout India. By 2009, there were 300,000 registered Wakf properties, making up 4 lakh acres. As of 2022, there are 8,65,646 registered Wakf properties spread over 8 lakh acres of land. Wakf land has doubled in just 13 years. Today, the value of the Wakf properties in India is estimated at 12 lakh crores. This makes the Wakf Board the richest non-governmental land-holding body in India. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. They have only started flexing their muscles. This is how the Wakf Board is able to loot lands so blatantly. They have the power to stake a claim on your property and throw you out of your own house. As a common man, you are powerless. I'm taking a deep breath here because what just happened really blew my mind away. This is not something that is made up, guys. This is the reality. If you still think that the India Alliance, which is nothing but an appeasement polity, is going to be worth voting for, I don't know what to tell you, my friend. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Namaskar.